Namaste. Today I am going to speak about the timing part of it, the muhurtha timing part of it. In muhurtha, the three principal time is the Rahu Kala, Yamaganda, and the important part of it is the Kuliga Kala. The Rahu Kala is nothing but the opening of the black vortex, opening of the lower astral vortex into the world is called as Rahu Kala. If you see psychically on the earthly realm, the vortex will open up and the negative spin of time is called as the Rahu Kala. That is why in Rahu Kala, generally positive things are not done. Positive initiatives are not taken by people. For example, starting of a new things, starting of different things are not done by people across, because the vortex of time is going to spin in the anti-clockwise direction, and the color of this vortex will be black in color. So that is the main reason why the ancient rishis who observed the flow of time, just like the rivers are observed, just like the clouds are observed, just like the hills are observed, the great rishis were able to look at the time in a very objective fashion. They were able to look at the time as a vortex, and the vortex opening and spinning of the vortex, time vortex, they were able to identify the different patterns of the time flow. That is why astrology is a major contribution by the Indian rishis. That astrology contribution was well integrated in Jainism, was well integrated in Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and its applications were used by the Greek people, and by, it is called as the Hellenistic astrology, and the Muslims. Everybody integrated in their own way the qualities of time, the patterns of time actually got integrated. And what is the meaning of Yamakanta? Kanta means throat, Yama means it is the god of death, or it can be a time in which to take important do's and don'ts. For example, if you are fasting, then don't try to break the fast in Yamakanta. If you are having, if you want to complete something, so do not complete it during the time of Yamakanta. The Yamakanta is the period where the black vortex spins, and the power of death or the power of closing of time pattern which happens into the world. Unfortunately, these days the scientists don't have the equipment, don't have the technology to observe the Yamakanta. That is the reason. Yamakanta, for example, many people will not go to the hospitals, will not go to the people, will not go to the what do you call it, hospital, negative areas during the Yamakanta. So when you do that, actually the situation aggravates, the position aggravates for people depending on the horoscopic strength. If the horoscope is very strong, then the Yamakanta might not have very good impact, but if the horoscope is weak, then the Yamakanta will have a proper impact. It is called as the confluence of time. For example, if you are going in 6, 8, 12 lagnas during the Yamakanta, then the situation will be aggravating. The Karya Siddhi will not happen. Many people make effort. Unfortunately, they are not able to produce the results of their effort across. they have a huge problem because they do not align with the time. Very successful people will align with the time. For example, many successful people have the alignment of time in the morning. They get up in the morning, they are able to do some routines in the morning, they are able to proceed with these kind of routines because they want to align their day across. So there are various alignments of time across, and one of the most important alignment of the time is the Yamakant and the Rahukal, and it is also called as the Bar Bela. In terms of Thursday, there is something called Bar Bela in the Bengal thing. Now, how I discovered the Rahu Kala is actually my father had died and I went to apply for the death certificate very close to a Shiva temple. The Shiva temple was there. Behind that was the office there. I went to apply the death certificate. Unfortunately, my bike petrol got over. I had a huge problem. Unfortunately, the person who was supposed to come did not turn up. I was fuming with so much of anger and I was very, very disturbed across. And the Shiva temple was open. I realized it was Rahu Kal, so I might as well light lamp for Rahu, which will help me to overcome any difficulties and problem across. I went inside the temple, I lighted the lamp, slowly my mind settled down, my breathing settled down as a person, and I was able to be calm. As soon as I came out of the temple, somebody offered to take their bike and put petrol into my bike, that is, go to the gas station, put the petrol, come back and put it across, and suddenly the other person came just in time after 4:30 across. So that was a Tuesday. Another time I had observed, I was very upset with my auntie, whom I tried to chase and tried to pick up a fight with her. She went to a temple and she lighted the lamp across. I realized it was Rahu Kala. I was mentally very disturbed. I went and lighted the lamp for Rahu. So many people have mood swing. Many people are mentally disturbed during the Rahu Kal and the Yamaganda cross. That is the main problem which many people have it in their life across. There is something called as the Kuliga time. The Kuliga time has a multiplication effect. The time pattern which flows into it will multiply the time, will multiply anything. That is why in Kuliga time the death is not taken. If you take death, it will multiply. If you do something good, it will have a multiplication effect. So that is why the Kuliga time is used by the people for doing good deed. Now many people, unfortunately, these days do not observe the time pattern. They use their will. They go on fighting. Unfortunately, their performance has a huge problem across. So this I have observed many times. People in the Nakshatra Sandhi and during the Tithi Sunya have mentally lot of disturbance across. For example, there was a Tithi Sunya. I spoke to 4 people. Nothing clicked of that particular project. I realized that the time pattern has such an important bearing on the Karya Siddhi. It has nothing to do with superstition. Wise people use the time alignment to be very, very successful in their life. Unwise people try to rely on effort and try to rely on that. Astrology can be used as a healing tool. Astrology can be used as an evolutionary tool. Astrology can be used as a energy clearing block tool. So this is the power of astrology. So please don't think astrology is a superstitious science. It talks about the patterns of time, the impact of patterns of time on people's life. It need not be accurate across, because not billions of rupees is spent on the research, and we do not have enough of equipment which can have the impact of time can be seen. So that is the main problem with astrology. But you can use the Raukal, Yamakant and the Kulika time for your growth and development. Generally, if you are going to attend for sales call, please align with Raukal, Yamakant and Kulika time. You will have more success with regard to your leads across. Thank you.